Hello world and welcome to the video. I'm gonna hope that the construction next door does not get too loud while I'm recording this video. Probably won't happen, but we're gonna go for it anyways. I have been extremely emotionally up and down during this quarantine over the past 3 weeks. I have been upset about a lot of things. I continue to be upset about a lot of things. However, this morning, Bernie Sanders suspended his campaign for president of the United States of America. And a lot of people are very upset about this, understandable, but this is not one of the reasons that I have cried during the quarantine. And so I thought, I can't make a lot of videos telling people to stay calm about most things because I can't do it myself. But this, I think I can reach out and start a conversation about. So that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to first say that it's totally valid to be super bummed out and emotional about Bernie Sanders dropping out. This is a super uncertain time, and it sucks. We have to cling to whatever hope we can, especially when we don't know what the future holds. Our entire election is up in the air anyways, and then to find out that Bernie's not even going to be there, it's a huge bummer for a lot of people. Our options are now Joe Biden, who has been accused of sexual assault, is horrible in debates. Oh god, he's just such a he's overall meh as a character. His policies are and he really represents the establishment that sucked a lot of things out of a lot of people's hope for the world and for our government. And then Donald Trump, who is a horrible person, has sexually assaulted 26, 30 something people, has repeatedly done things only for himself, only ran for president to start his own TV network, and then accidentally won. Things are getting really out of hand with that whole situation regardless. But I think when I've talked to a lot of people in person, because talking to people on Twitter is a waste of time and not representative of America, a lot of people who were independent were like, Donald Trump, his appeal was that they were tired of the establishment. And so they were then interested in Bernie Sanders. And I was able to have conversations with people about that. You can't have conversations with those same people about Joe Biden because he is so ingrained in the establishment. And how do I want to pivot this whole thing to be hopeful? The hope of Bernie Sanders lies in the movement for the causes that Bernie Sanders was a champion of. Medicare for all, the Green New Deal. Those are his big ones, but other things as well that I'll touch on in a second. That was a lot of hope for a lot of people. And regardless, this is why I am not totally bummed out. Because the movement continues regardless of whether or not Bernie Sanders is in the race and whether or not he wins the presidency. Yes, it would have been so much easier to do a lot of things if he was president, but look at his race. He had the establishment against him at every single step of the way, and if he would have become president, passing policies would have been super difficult because he would have been super ingrained in pushing up against the Democratic establishment, not to mention the GOP doing whatever that they are doing over there. We know what they're doing. They're trying to make money for themselves and trying to kill us all along the way. Regardless. We're going to have to mobilize huge movements of people to get our agendas accomplished, regardless of who was president. When Obama went into office, he did want to accomplish Medicare for all and huge climate change policies. And you look at the person that Obama was and how hopeful he was for a lot of people and how quickly the establishment and being in that role beat him down. I do think Bernie Sanders would have done so much better about that because he has a lifelong career of fighting that. But realistically, we were going to have to fight tooth and nail as people in the streets, calling our senators, showing up on Capitol's steps to demand these things because it was not going to happen with the brush of Bernie Sanders' magical wand. Yes, it is going to be harder now that our nominee is Joe Biden and the other one is Donald Trump. One of them is obviously going to be a lot easier But neither of them are going to be good. I have zero confidence that Joe Biden, in his term of presidency, because I'm just going to, fight for that now, I guess, will put forward enough climate policies for us to avert a climate catastrophe that ruins all of our futures. That's very concerning for me, because we can't accomplish any other policies if our planet is killing people. And our rich people are killing people via the planet. So that's super, super disheartening for me. But I already knew that we were going to have to fight. So the reason that I'm not totally ruined right now is because the things we are going to do, we still have to do. And we cannot give up right now. We can be super, super sad, but we have to channel that emotion into something. And that's why I wanted to talk to people today, to let you know that the world is super uncertain on many fronts, but there are 3 concrete things that you can do right now to not feel so hopeless about Bernie Sanders dropping out of the presidential race. Here they are. Number 1, you can get involved in a movement that is already existing. The Bernie Sanders campaign was bolstered up by multiple movements, one of which, the Sunrise Movement, I am a part of. I am a team lead for the Seattle hub here, but there are hubs all across the nation, and it's also super easy to start a hub of your own. You just need 3 people. And you get access to a ton of resources, a ton of online trainings that are happening right now that are super easy to get to because everything is online right now. So this is a really great time to join. And if you're in a big city like Seattle or Portland, even like a city the size of Eugene, they have existing hubs. It's a super great time to plug in because you can just start going to meetings without ever leaving your home. And most of them are at pretty accessible times. So one concrete thing that you can do to feel more hopeful is to plug into the movements that made up the excitement, enthusiasm, and power of Bernie Sanders. These movements are building political power. They are organizing people, they're organizing resources and money to take back the positions of power in society. And they are mobilizing people to do that. And it's super, super inspiring. This is the difference between like going to volunteer at like an animal shelter, or even going to volunteer at somewhere like I don't want to name any names because I don't want it to seem like I'm like putting down anybody. Like if you need to go get an escape and go volunteer at an animal shelter, please do that. Well, maybe not right now because you can't leave your home, but there are organizations that are like, these are the concrete policies we're doing. We're going to like do all these meetings with these politicians, and that's super great. The thing that I love about movements like Sunrise Movement, I'll just name a few. Black Lives Matter is still organizing, an amazing organizational structure. Movimiento Cosecha, which is fighting for immigrant rights. Even an organization like Justice Democrats, it's harder to, I think, plug into them, but they are building that power, and it's super accessible. You don't have to have any experience. You can just show up, and you can even just show up for an hour a week on a virtual call, and that's a super accessible way to start getting your toe dipped in. And nobody's ever going to ask you to do something that you're not ready to do. They might get to know you and realize like you have a really great skill and we want to tap into that. And for this special project, can you do this? And you can say no, but also it's a super great way to grow yourself as a person, and not in just these abstract skills, but things that you already know how to do, that you're already really good at, that you can just bring yourself and show up. So we need to do that because regardless of who becomes president in January, we have to hit the ground running, and we have to fight our butts off because we have to avoid a catastrophic climate catastrophe by passing policies in the next presidential term. It's the only hope that we have. This video is getting really long, so I'm gonna hurry up. The least you can do is stay plugged in, follow these groups on Twitter, on Instagram, so that when there is a call to action, you're able to plug in, go onto their website and sign up for emails. Most local organizations send you less emails than national organizations do. So look for your local hub, try to connect with your local hub of whatever you want to get involved in, but look to build real power in your community. And if you need help and you're actually interested, please reach out to me because I will definitely help you. If you have the energy to actually reach out and think about it, I will help you. Next, you should Be aware of who is running for office in your local area, in your local races. Because like I said, Bernie Sanders could have become president, and then he would have been up against a Senate and a House of Reps that is like made up of the establishment regardless of party. And they would be pushing against him and against our agenda and making it super difficult. And the way that we take that back is by electing people like AOC or Rashida Tlaib into those offices. And there are races happening right now in Washington and Oregon, especially that I know of, but definitely across the whole US, that are fighting for people like that to replace even incumbent Democrats who are serving like at this current moment, you know, like the airline lobby. That's a thing. Not to mention like the fossil fuel lobby and those kinds of awful, awful organizations. There's somebody running against Peter DeFazio in Oregon. Her name is Doyle Canning. She is involved in Sunrise Movement Eugene, and she seems really, really cool. I am excited for her race and many others. You can get involved. You can follow them on Twitter. They have local volunteer opportunities, not right now to do door knocking, but they have opportunities for you to get involved even virtually right now. Dip your toe in, follow them so you at least know what's going on, what their policy platform's on. They'll be, you know, retweeting existing politicians. Donate if you can. Obviously, a lot of us are very like hard up right now. I cannot donate to anybody right now, but if you can, your money goes a lot farther in local races than it does in a presidential race. So if you were holding on to your $5, your $10, maybe your $50 if you're a real go-getter for Bernie Sanders after he wins the primary, hey, you have that money now. You can donate that to a local race, and that money's gonna go so much farther. So that can feel really, really good. The last thing is, those 1 and 2, get involved in a movement, get involved in a local race, and 3, subscribe to my YouTube. My role in this, hi Bree, over the next few months for this election year is to every other week be bringing you a story, a opportunity to take action, some political construction, some way to look at politics that's going to help you in this movement. I'm thinking every other week because that's attainable for me, but also because I don't want to bombard you. The news is already so much and it's hard to figure out what's important and what's not. And so I'm going to be coming here, connecting to people with compassion, with understanding, with the goal of creating a community of all of us coming together to fight for all of us. That's my goal. And so I'm going to be hopefully doing some really great interviews with these people, running in local races, doing some quirky YouTube challenges, and maybe traveling around the state to be looking at our communities and being like, look, we did this, we fought for this, and we won. We can do it. Hopefully I'm able to leave my apartment because otherwise that'll be really difficult to accomplish. But if you don't take any steps, please at least subscribe to my YouTube because I will be bringing you little tidbits here and there. Is it enough? No. It's not enough to, change the world. But it's a really great first step if you're not going to do anything else. Please subscribe. Please follow your local races. And please get involved in a movement building real power. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you do not feel totally demolished. Know that this is not the end of the road. This is another road bump on a series of road bumps. The fight for justice has never been easy. I don't know what else to say to make it feel hopeful, but thanks for watching. See you all next time.